Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our podcast. My name is Alise Torres, and I'm a naturopathic wellness consultant. And I also have my co-host here, Felicia, who's also a naturopathic wellness consultant with me. We are excited to have a wonderful guest on today. But before we do that, Felicia, why don't you share our mission statement?
All right. Our podcast is on a mission to ignite a powerful health and wellness movement through education, inspiration, and community. We believe true well-being comes from feeling energized, empowered, and joyful in every aspect of life. Through expert insights, real conversations, and innovative strategies, we help you unlock your full potential and achieve your goals with confidence.
Yay!
Yay!
So this is the Naturopathic Breakthrough Podcast, and our guest today, I'm so excited. I'm just going to share with you. Her name is Elisabeth Finocchiaro. She's a breath worker.
Very cool.
She is a breathwork facilitator and embodiment guide with nearly a decade of experience in natural somatic healing. She's known for her gentle yet transformative approach, often called the feminine side of breathwork. Elisabeth integrates conscious breathing, nervous system regulation, and body-based practices like de-armoring to support emotional ease and long-term balance. Her work addresses the root of stress, disconnection, and burnout through the body's own intelligence. This is why we have her on. She's such a great compliment to what we do.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And before, and she offers, and we can get, she offers one-on-one sessions, immersive group experiences, and facilitator training, both online and in person. So welcome, Elisabeth.
Thank you so much.
Welcome. Thank you for
you.
joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
And so I have to also share, I think I need to share. Elisabeth's also my wonderful, beautiful niece. And she's coming to us all the way from Norway.
I know, that's so cool.
Today. And she was one of the first people I thought about when we started this podcast, how we need to bring breath work into it. So I'm so happy we're finally here with you.
Absolutely.
So let me just start by asking you, Elisabeth, so what is breath work? How did you get into it personally, and what impact has it had on your own life?
Yes, thank you so much for the amazing introduction and for having me. So, breathwork is the intentional use of breath to influence your mind, your emotions, your body. And there's many sides of breathwork. So I think this is something people maybe are hearing the word breathwork a lot, and then it's a whole industry, it's a whole umbrella, and there's different sides of it. So you have the two main branches of breathwork, which is you have the functional side, which you hear a lot about with like biohacking, stress reduction, improving sleep, like when you start to hear about these type of things, dysfunctional breathing pattern, you will find this more functional breathing side where it's a lot about mechanisms, it's a lot about efficiency, it's about improving, it's about do this, this, and this, and you're going to improve your sleep, or you're going to improve your nose breathing. And then you have the other side of breath work, which is more the transformative side. And this is where we start to talk more about releasing stored trauma, emotions, when we start to talk about tapping into intuition, breaking patterns that are deep-seated, and having like altered states of consciousness experience. And I'm more on the transformative side of breath work. Even though I think there's obviously many roads to Rome, so you can do functional breathing and have intuitive spiritual experiences, and you can do transformational breathing and improve your sleep and your breathing mechanism. So everything's complementing, and I think that brings it back to this holistic idea that we're all about, is like it's all complementary. But I specialize in the transformational side of breath work. So this is creating an experience where I focus on the sigh of relief, which is not a technique. So it's not technical breathing. It's not like do this certain breath for this outcome. I'm working with a reflex, which is this breath that we do around 4 times an hour, roughly. And it's something that's been given to us by nature. So there is an intelligence here. And just like animals shake, I really believe that the sigh of relief is our way of resetting. It's our way of shaking off any and like moving energy. If nature didn't give us this reflex, our lungs would probably collapse. Like we would just shrink. This is like nature's way of opening us and helping us let go. It's like this breath that we all know so well. You know, you're annoyed at someone. It's like you're trying to think of something. Sometimes you hold your breath, but it's like, you know, it's a breath that comes in involuntary, like it's a reflex. It's just like the body wants this to happen. And that's the intelligence that I work with. So I get people to basically lay down for an hour and we work with this reflex and we do a circular breathing. So you'll hear that in the transformational breathwork world, this conscious connective circular breathing. So we're conscious of the breath, we're intentional about the breath, we are connecting them. So the inhale goes into the exhale, exhale goes into the inhale, no pause, and it's circular. And this experience is incredible. So I can share a bit how I got into it. So when I got into health and wellness at a very young age because of Alise. And she really introduced me to first the mindset things of law of attraction, which I think is an incredible starting point to really get the mind primed into, okay, what you think matters and how you show up or what influences you take from the outer world matters. And so I really started down that path at quite a young age. And so it was when I was 18, 19, I was already having a very big spiritual awakening and completely into all of this. And because I had some years even before that with some prepping from Alise. So I knew I wanted to help people and I was wondering, how am I going to do this? Am I going to become a yoga instructor? Am I going to do massage? Like, how am I going to help people? And so I went to like the yoga retreats and I went to many different type of events and was trying to find my purpose. Like what can I do? Because I want to help people. And at that time, I opened my first company when I was 19, 20, and I sold jewelry. So I collected gemstones and I made intentional jewelry. And people would come to me with gemstones and different things. And I would make custom pieces. And every piece came with like an intention. Like, I hope when you wear this, you remember your confidence. I hope when you wear this, you remember to take care of yourself or whatever the person needed help with. And this became quite a thing in my town that I was living in. Almost everyone had like a piece of jewelry from me, and I was really like business oriented and getting out there and doing stands and selling. But then people started to come to me with their problems and they didn't want the jewelry anymore. They just wanted my advice. They wanted to hear my stories. They wanted to just be with me and have me listen to them. And I realized I don't need the jewelry. I can just talk to people. And then I realized coaching was a whole industry. So I started to teach and hold courses. My first workshop was called Clarity and Compassion. I started teaching around 21 years old or something like this, workshops. And then I went to a yoga retreat. And in the same retreat, there was breathwork parallel. And all I wanted to do was be with the breathworkers. I did not want to do the yoga. I knew it was good for me, but I didn't feel this calling to it. And so I asked the breathwork teacher, can I join you guys? And she's like, well, you're not really signed up for this program. It was a training program, so for professionals, and I've never done it before. And I was like, but I really feel like I'm supposed to be with you guys. Can you come to the yoga and teach us? Like, can you come to our side? And they said yes. And they came over and I had one of my first sessions at the time. And what I experienced was so much mental clarity and connection to my spirit. And I just felt this gratitude to be alive, that was one of the biggest feelings that I had when I laid down and just let my body breathe. It was just so liberating. And a lot of tears, a lot of emotions came out. And I just felt in the end like just looking around with awe of life. And then I knew that this is what I had to do. So I've dedicated now a decade and then the teacher, when the student's ready, the teacher arrives. So I was apprentice of one of the original rebirthers that took it from India to the West. And I was apprentice for him for 4 years and just completely dedicated basically my life for the past 10 years in this practice. So to share what it's done for me is really hard because I can try to say it in a sentence. It has given me the foundation to, it's so difficult. But it's just giving me such a safe foundation in my life to be able to be in touch with my body, my mind, and my emotions, and also not lose myself. It's given me the practice and the foundation and this kind of area or arena to always be with myself and to be with spirit as well, because breath is spirit. So to be inspired, to be within spirit, spirare is breath in Latin. So for me, there's just so much to this. It's like poetry as well. So that's my little like, how did I find it and why am I so in love with this work?
That's so interesting because I mean, I was just thinking while you were talking that, breathing, it happens automatically. We don't have to, we take it for granted because it's the parasympathetic. It just happens. Thank goodness. But because it just happens all the time, we don't really give it a whole lot of thought. But
Mm,
since, I know I think it's the box breathing at night, 4 in, hold it for 4,
yeah,
let it out for 4. Yeah, to kind of help me relax.
yeah,
But really, that's about the extent of my breath work. I know during the day we're supposed to stop and take deep breaths, right? I mean, but how many of us do that? Probably not many. So getting that extra oxygen is important for your brain, right? And so what else are we doing when we stop during the day and like consciously think about breathing? What are we physically doing to our body?
yeah. So I'll talk more energetically because I'm, like I said, I'm not really on the functional side, so I'm not one to talk about oxygen or CO2 levels. I'm more like in the energetic side. But when you stop and take a breath during your day, if you do it multiple times throughout your day, what you're basically saying to the universe, to the world, to yourself is checking in with yourself is important.
Okay.
And what is the benefits of checking in with yourself throughout the day? You're going to be more conscious of what's going in and conscious of what's going out. So if you're someone that's an empath, for example, and you take in a lot of energy around you, it's going to be really important that you check in with yourself multiple times a day, because if not, you're going to let a lot of energy in that if you were to breathe, because breathing is contagious. So if you're not connected to your own breath and kind of leading your breath in a sense of like knowing where you're at rhythmically and energetically with your, how much are you inhaling and exhaling and where are you? Because you're always on a rhythm.
Yeah.
And we will attach to other people's rhythms. So if you have an anxious person around you, subconsciously you don't even know it, but you will start to sync up to their breathing pattern if you
Oh,
don't
okay.
control your own rhythm. So
Okay.
take that and see kind of how there's so many things to reflect on there. It's like so
Okay.
important to be connected to your own rhythm in life and how that
Okay.
influences almost everything.
Okay. Yeah. So you're regulating your nervous system just by doing that.
Yeah,
That is,
absolutely.
yeah, stuff you just
That,
don't think about.
that was huge right now for me, just thinking of, is that how, like when you're with someone that has a certain energy and you feel like you leave, you know how we could sometimes can leave people feeling different than when we
Yep.
met them?
Mhm.
Like, why am I feeling this way now? And it could be the energy from, even if we don't live with them, like even if we're just with them for a little bit, Elisabeth,
Mhm.
Yep.
like Because, yeah, oh my God, yeah, that was.
Yeah. So the idea here, there a lot of personal development teachers talk about this, and I didn't get it for so long. They say the strongest energy wins.
Mm,
I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if you guys have heard that before. And I started to like, it took me many years to understand that. You know, when you hear something and you're like, didn't land, but let's see. And then when I felt in about breathing, it's like the strongest breath, the most conscious person of their breath will win. So if you're in a room with anxious, depressed people, but you're staying connected to your breath and you're feeling inspired, you're feeling regulated, you will influence them
Mm-hmm.
instead of the other way around of them putting you down. So there is this, the strongest energy, the most conscious person in the room will win the energy of the room, if that makes sense.
Okay. It does, actually. It
yes, that makes
actually
a
does.
lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I, in here in the States, it's a saying, you know, when somebody's really, really upset and they're about to lose their mind, you'll tell them, hang on, take a breath, take a breath. But it's just a saying, you know, you don't really think beneath the surface. Take a breath and calm down is really what you're telling them, you know?
Yeah.
So that's it is just part of everyday um situations that you can use this in. And I do have another question. In your bio, there was something about de-armoring. Can you explain that to us?
Yeah. So de-armoring is a body work modality that goes really well with breath work. And there's different schools and there's different, it's like an umbrella as well. So there's different approaches with de-armoring. But the idea is that it's basically acknowledging that we have armor in our bodies. We have created armor around our heart, around our belly, around like the whole body, the energetic and the physical, to protect ourselves. So
Okay.
the practice of de-armoring is the practice of safety. So how can you create safety with somebody? And through a session, you slowly move into touch. It doesn't have to be touch, but it is a bodywork based practice where you're working with the fascia and the nervous system and then finding points, finding hardness, finding armor, and slowly pushing into it and allowing the person to unwind and breathe until it becomes soft again.
Okay. Okay. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, obviously there's a lot to this. We could spend hours talking about this.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. Yeah.
Exactly. And we
Mhm.
will definitely have a lot of
Mhm.
Elisabeth with us. Um, obviously she's connected to me, so.
Yeah.
She'll be back.
I'll be back.
But do you have a story of someone that you've worked with, like a testimonial that you can share with us, a powerful one? I'm sure you have many, but can you think of someone or something? Of course, without letting us know who she is.
Yeah.
She or he.
I've had I've had many clients have pains, a lot of shoulder pains that have gone away in one session. I've had a lot of, one crazy testimonial that I have is there was a woman who had surgery, I think it was a C-section, and there was a bit of thread inside left. So she had this infection around inside and scar tissue. And she was breathing with me a lot and doing a lot of breath work. And suddenly there's a sore that opens up, and the body had pushed out the string that was in the body.
Oh, wow.
And she connected it to, and she is a bodywork professional and not in de-armoring, but like another type of bodywork. So but she said it was because of all the breath work that she was doing that the body started to push out the things that weren't natural. So that
Okay.
was an insane testimonial, like very physical, like
Right.
wow.
Yeah.
But most of my testimonials are people feeling more ease, people feeling more confident, people feeling more regulated, empowered, people that have been kind of disconnected to their body, finally feeling more safe in their body. So it's a bit difficult, abstract and
Mhm.
different depending on the client. So everyone's kind of coming and getting what they need, and it's so many different cases. But
Right.
the most of the thing is actually emotional ease and ease in life. Like things just get easier. It's not that life changes necessarily, but they can handle more.
Exactly. Yeah. And that reminds me of the times that you've guided me through breath work too, breath sessions. It's you walk away, I walk away feeling just, it's hard to explain, but there's an opening, an ease.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't wait. Felicia, you and I are going to Norway in a couple of weeks where we're going to be hanging out with Elisabeth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well, maybe we can get a session in.
Yes, definitely.
definitely,
Yeah, that would
definitely.
be awesome. That would be awesome. I do have one more quick question.
Yes.
I think it'll be quick, maybe not. How does what you do complement like other wellness practices? Like, well, what we do with the, naturopathic type things.
Yeah. So when we're looking at a holistic approach to lifestyle and healing, there we need to take in consideration the body, the mind, the spirit, the emotions, and I think it's important for everyone to have different angles in. Just like body work, for example, the de-armoring is really hard to work with people that haven't gone to therapy, for example, to just start in body work because they don't have the conceptual context of healing and why are we doing this and what have you been through and why not this. And so there's kind of steps that need to be taken, and I think from different angles. So with the
Okay.
work that you guys are doing, empowering people to heal themselves and take their medical like agency to make decisions for themselves and really heal from the inside and finding the root cause, I think you almost can't just take anyone off the street and they'll be ready for what you guys do. And same with me. It's like you can do it, but it's not always like people need preparation. People need different angles in. So I think mindfulness, for example, meditation, therapy, psychosomatic therapy, like all of these things are so complementary because they prep the mind. Because to
Mm-hmm.
do what you guys are doing, you need people who have agency, who can
Yeah.
actually think for themselves and be responsible and not just look for instant gratification. There's so many different parts of a human that need to be on board with the
True.
process. So for me, why it complements like the breathwork specifically, because it will help people understand that, oh, I feel better when I have a regulated nervous system, or my breathing helps every other system in my body, and then complement with these supplements or this type of lifestyle change, I can be able to handle what could come up in the detox process. Because, you guys are also going through detox process with clients that are not just physical, they're also emotional. And what if they
Mm-hmm.
have no resources? What if they've never been to therapy or have never heard about any type of resource? They have no, and teachers like me, I give resources to my clients. So when emotions like this happen, do this, or you're going to be okay, or practice this. And I think it's so complementary, if that makes sense.
It totally makes sense.
Yes. And actually that leads us to one of our like parting questions that we like to ask is like, if there was something that you can leave us with now, like what is a simple tip that someone can take right now to do to help
Yeah.
themselves and
Yeah.
get started on conscious breathing?
Mm-hmm. So, this reflex I was talking about, it happens around 4 times an hour, if not more. What you can do is when you notice you do it, so first just see if you can be as conscious as possible of noticing when you do it, because it's going to happen. You're going to do it at some point. And what you can do is do it twice. So just do it one more time right after consciously. So the next time your body, when you sit down on the sofa after work or something, your body does it, do it one more
Yeah.
time and say, oh, there it was. Okay, let me do it one more time. And then kind of exaggerate it, like, make a sound.
Okay.
And this is basically telling your body that you're noticing, like, oh, I see you. You're opening and you're relaxing, and I want to be a part of that. This is the foundation. I think if you can get this, then you can start to work on other things. But if you skip this, you might be doing practices, but you don't have the relationship to the natural intelligence of the breath. You're just doing the breath for a result. And we all know in relationships, if it's just transactional, it's not actually that deep. So we want to
Mm-hmm.
get this beautiful connection to the intelligence of the breath, if that makes sense. And it's happening all the time. So just take your time to do one more time, if that makes sense.
It does.
Yes.
That's very cool. I'm gonna do
Really
that.
cool.
Amazing.
Exactly. Amazing.
And it's
Amazing.
easy. It's not like you have to sit down and meditate for 20 minutes. It's happening all the time. So just get into the routine of caring about it, of making it important.
Exactly. Well, awesome. Oh,
Yay.
we could go on forever and ever, like Felicia said, and
Yeah.
but I'm so excited that we're going to have, see you soon, but we're going to have you back
Yeah.
on with on our channel.
Mhm.
And so for those, so a couple of things when we do, Elisabeth will have, she is in our closed Facebook group. So I'd love for you all who wants to, whoever wants more information and wants to stay connected with us, please join our Facebook group. It's Naturopathic Breakthrough Community. And if you're not on Facebook, our email is naturopathicpodcast@gmail.com. So
Yes.
just email us and we'll get you hooked up with us and Elisabeth. And yeah, and Elisabeth will have some goodies for us inside the Facebook group as well. Right. So awesome. Any last minute thoughts?
No, thank you so much for sharing. That's so interesting. I love it.
Yes.
Amazing. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And I will be posting a 2-part free gift inside of the Facebook group. So like Elise shared, I will be there and I'm excited to be a part of this community. So thank you both so much for having me. And yeah,
Oh,
thanks.
Thank
our
you.
pleasure. And thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes. See y'all next time.
Yes.
Thanks for joining, everybody.
Yes. Thanks for joining. Bye.
Bye.